Kenny White's going to bang the desk because it's bangthebook.com, and it's a monster football game in the Big 12. Baylor at Oklahoma State. And, Kenny, we're looking at Baylor, 9.5, 10.5, total on the game, 77.5. Double digits, pretty much, they're laying here on the road against a very good foe. And I believe the argument could be made this is the toughest of their 3 remaining games. At TCU, not a cupcake, but they get Texas at home. This could be the final hurdle.
I think this is the most difficult game on the road. This is the best team they've played all year long, and they're playing it on the road. Their only difficult game so far this year on the road was at Kansas State, and they struggled in that game. They come up by 10 points. But they're beating opponents by 44 a game, and that's why they're 9.5 in this game. Throw all those garbage games out.
The thing, it's weird when you watch this offense, and their defense will create occasional turnovers, but they get scored upon. But it really is like watching a basketball team that presses you and fast break because they score in waves.
It's very difficult when you find a guy like Art Briles and you know and not many other people know this guy's a great coach and he's going to do great things at Baylor. I said 5-6 years ago he would turn this program around and you win on him, but then all of a sudden now it gets so overinflated. You're against him every week, and it's so difficult. And he beat me last week. I had plus 28.5 with Texas Tech, and he gets me by half a point. Hopefully this week it won't be the same thing.
Football is kind of a copycat deal, especially the NFL, and we see now the read option and things of that nature. At what point do other teams start mimicking what Baylor does? If you watch pre-snap, it is amazing how wide the wide receivers are, and they stretch the field. Nobody else is doing that.
No, this is Art Briles' offense. I think you'll see more and more teams go to it. But amazing how much you think that this team throws the football because they score 61 points a game. Well, wrong. They run it 62% of the time. They've got 2 great backs that can run the ball, Seastrunk and Linwood. I think Seastrunk's banged up this week. He may not play.
They've been a bettor's dream, 8-1 against the spread. And you just play the overs. You've been cashing some dough as well, 7-2 to the over.
Yeah, that's a parlay. If you can find somebody who will allow you to parlay, that's pretty hard to do this day and age. But yeah, they have been. They've steamrolled everybody. But again, they're stepping up in talent. And this Oklahoma State team, 9-1 this year. They're 7-3 covering spreads as well, Brian. They got some talent over there.
How good? Let me just throw it at you this way. How good was the win? They'd love to have that trip to West Virginia back. How good was the win over Texas? It was the worst loss the Longhorns have suffered since Mack Brown's been the head coach. And Texas had righted the ship once they got into conference play.
Yeah, and this is an Oklahoma State team that really is playing well, and they would love to have that West Virginia game back because they know they could beat that club. They'd be undefeated, too, right now at Baylor, and they'd be talking about a top 10 team. We are talking about 2 top 10 defenses, though. Oklahoma State, number 9 in the country, allowing 4.7 yards a play. Baylor, number 4. They only allow 4.2 yards per play, but that's the competition they face.
How inflated are totals for Baylor to begin with? But Oklahoma State, the perception is out there that they're a track meet team.
Well, Baylor went over their first 4 games. They're only 3-2 over their last 5, still showing a profit. But as you see, 3-5 now over the last 5. That means the totals are getting higher. It's starting to catch up to them. When you look back at the only tough game they've had on the road this year at Kansas State, game came 35-20, 13 points under the total.
And finally, if you want to use the terminology that as the stakes get higher, does the pace of play slow down a little bit?
I don't think so. Both these teams like to go fast. Baylor's number 8 in the country and Oklahoma State's number 16. That's the scary part about the total. You're basically getting 5 quarters for your money when these 2 teams get together because there's so many plays in this football game.
Okay, and it doesn't matter. If Ohio State wins 200-0 this week, if Baylor wins this game, they'll be number 3 in the BCS. For Kenny White, I'm Brian Blessing. BangTheBook.com. We got you covered. NFL action coming up as well.